I'm feeling all right. How you doing?
Doing well. Also, I wanted to bring up. I'm not going to bring the Colts up. I
I was literally when we were asking about what to name this. I was gonna put Gold Colts, and I was gonna say everybody told me to tell you told me to do it.
no, I'm not because we're not that good. I'm not going to promote our team if we're not winning games. We lost too. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm just glad we had that week delay, so you could lose a game and then we could go back to normal.
exactly. Gosh, we lost.
Don't
Did you
worry.
hear we lost our quarterback too for the season?
Yeah, yeah.
So
But I wonder who did that to you.
yeah, you guys did. You guys
That's
did.
okay because
Cheap shot.
Tannehill's. I don't know. I haven't looked at the news with Tannehill. He went out with an ankle injury, and he was out last year, half the year with an ankle injury. So looks like Malik might be stepping up for the next couple weeks at least.
Ooh, it doesn't matter. Neither one of our teams are going anywhere.
No, we're going absolutely nowhere.
I'd
No.
love to see the chat on my end. Oh, there you go, Trisha. Speaking of Trisha, shouldn't you
Yeah,
be watching the Jags? Trish?
I was about to tell you. She just texted me like 2 minutes ago. She
Oh,
said, "Who scored touchdown? Not the Saints." So I guess the Jags are winning. I don't know what the
hey,
score is.
Trevor Lawrence is
It's
good.
not a game. Not a game I'm interested in.
We talking football. We're talking foosball. As people are coming in here, what's up, Gladys? Let's talk about something we haven't talked really about. We'll just kick it off. Maybe with this, I'll ask you the question. A lot of new resellers aren't going this direction, but at what point do you feel like a lot of people are going, they see what you're doing on Whatnot, and they're seeing that that's another way to resell. You know, you have your eBay, you have Poshmark, and now Whatnot's on the scene, and they're seeing you doing Whatnot and making it fun, making extra money. What are your some main suggestions to people if they want to start Whatnot?
Yeah, that's a good question. By the way, appreciate everybody hopping in. We're gonna acknowledge a couple people real quick. Love Gazelle is in the chat. Mom's in the chat. Laura is my mother-in-law. She's the one that helps us out every day. What's up, Mom?
What's up,
Um,
Laura?
Amy's here. What's up, everybody? Appreciate hopping in. Whatnot. I answer this a lot on my live because I get a lot of these types of questions, and people are down because they're trying to build a Whatnot following, and they've been doing a couple Whatnot shows, and they just don't do very good in the beginning. They have a good first show. They get a lot of promotion for the first show because everybody's excited. They go there, and then second, third, fourth, fifth show kind of takes a hit in a crowd, which you should probably expect. Like a grand opening for a store, you might have a line outside the door, and then day two you only have a couple people going in because the grand opening happened yesterday. All the excitement's done, but then you got to bring the excitement back. You got to try new stuff. You got to have really cool giveaways. You got to have really good inventory. And if you don't have a huge following, you have to expect there to be smaller crowds, and you have to expect to build on Whatnot. Just like me and Surfs have built on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We put in a lot of work, a lot of time to build our following. You got to do the same thing on Whatnot. It is completely different than eBay, completely different than Poshmark, completely different than Mercari. You can't just hop on and put a listing live and eBay promotes it for you. You got to do all that promotion, and you got to figure out different ways to promote and try to get people in. But I had an interview with ZK Styles, who's somebody who built it up from absolutely nothing and built her crowd up to where she's one of the best Whatnot sellers. She doesn't have any social media popping until after she built up her Whatnot following. Even her Instagram is I think is her most followed platform, and it doesn't really have too many followers yet. She still gets 200 to 300 people in her shows, but she's doing all kinds of different stuff. So if you want to learn from somebody, go watch that interview. I have it on YouTube. You can rewatch that interview. It's about an hour, I think hour 25 minutes long. And I asked her all kinds of questions about how she built her following. That's what you need to go watch if you want to build your Whatnot following, because that's the route you're probably going to have to take unless you want to take the social media route, grow your social media, and then pull people in. It's all advertising. If you have 10 people in a TikTok live, I don't think you should expect to have 200 people in a Whatnot live because you already don't have the following in one place. You got to bring them. That's why people don't like Whatnot, and some people say it's not fair because all these big creators have huge followings and they bring them over. But that's part of advertising. That's part of growing a business. You have to advertise.
Yep.
You like my voice, everybody?
It's got such a deep voice. I feel like I have to Barry White.
I think I'm gonna keep it.
Barry White in the
I'm gonna
chat.
try to
No,
keep it. I'm gonna start screaming at night.
I'm with you. What I kind of noticed, I just to all the new resellers out there, and this is always kind of based towards new resellers. I don't think Whatnot is something you should do just starting out, unless you want to go watch ZK, watch that interview you did with her, and maybe just go on Whatnot and watch her. She built it from the ground up on Whatnot. So look at her energy, look at what she brings. You got to kind of look at that. And I always tell people, binge people's videos. So you want to learn about how to sell on eBay, binge people's videos on what they sell. Just like on Whatnot, go binge your old Whatnots, because we can watch all your old shows on Whatnot, and people can get a good idea of what to put on it, prices, energy, all that sort of stuff.
Yep. I would always say start on other platforms first. I think pretty much every Whatnot seller probably has done that at this point, also because those platforms came out way before Whatnot. But you need to learn what brands are selling best. If you just start on Whatnot, you will fail so miserably, because you already don't have the brand knowledge. You're taking that minimal brand knowledge, going into a thrift store, buying a bunch of bad brands, and then trying to resell them for a profit. I think you should always start on eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari, grow a significant store there, and then move to the other platform, move to Whatnot.
And I'm going to say this too. I'll leave it at that with Whatnot. So I appreciate you answering that question for everybody. I think people always say there's a million ways to make $1 million. I think it probably is the same way on Whatnot. I was watching Buried's last night, completely out of the box Whatnot show. I wouldn't have even thought of a Whatnot show like that. So I think you don't have to do exactly what someone else does, but do something creative enough that people will be interested in coming.
Yeah, the first time, it's actually the second time he ran that show. The first time he ran it, I stepped in for a little bit, and I didn't really like it because I don't really like the surprise box shows. There's a lot of people on Whatnot that currently do that, and it if you get something bad, it's going to put a bad taste in your mouth. You're not going to want to come back and spend money there. But the way Barry did it is very, very smart and very, very genius. And he's also a very likable person, and he's not trying to take advantage of anybody. So like, you can tell other people that are, and he's not one of them. So I think it's going to work out for him, because he just runs a good show. He's entertaining. I mean, you listen and watch his videos, you're entertained, let alone like when he's on live. Like, he's super funny when he's live. So he's only going to succeed on Whatnot. I can only see him succeeding.
Agreed. All right, cool. Let's get some questions.
Yep.
Anyone has any?
I got one by Zilla Rack. By the way, if you guys are just hopping in, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. You got two brains here that can try to help you out. And we do our businesses sometimes the same and sometimes a little bit different. So you'll be able to hear two different opinions on your questions. This is really good for newer resellers as well. People that are just hopping on and you want to learn a little bit more about reselling. So let's go ahead and start with Zilla Rack. Zilla Rack said, at what point do you start paying yourself from your business funds? That's a really good question. When did you start paying yourself, Serves?
So I had a full-time job, and it was my side hustle. And I actually reinvested most of my money back into reselling. So that's what I did. When I started to pay myself out is probably when I started to match my pay. When I started to match my pay or get a big enough inventory, I don't know. There wasn't really a spot, but I definitely reinvested into my business. I would say for a good year, all the money.
Yep. Yeah. I think for me, it was like 2.5 years. I started and I just invested back into the business. Every dime I made, I put right back into the business, because I was already working a full-time job at the post office. So I was making pretty decent pay. So I was able to just roll that back in. And then at the point I really started paying myself is during the COVID shutdown. I had such a good first few months during that period of time, because everything was shut down. People were shopping online because they were stuck at home, that I started paying off all my debt. And that's really when I first started paying myself, when I started paying off all that debt. And then shortly after that, I went back to rolling everything back into the business, because my inventory was low. So I just kept recycling that money. And then when Kayla quit her full-time job, that's when we started paying ourselves out of the business, really. We took a little bit here and there, but consistent pay was when she quit her full-time job, because we had to pay our bills. That was the way we paid our bills. And of course, when I quit, we have already started pulling money out. So now we're just going to pull a little bit more out to cover my bills.
Gotcha. Yep.
So
there's not really a clear, it's kind of a grayish area on that one.
Yep. Here's I'm confused how Whatnot sellers can make money selling for $1. So the people that Well, we run things at $1. They never sell for $1. I don't think we've ever sold an item for $1. Well, we have. I've loaded things in the shop for $1 for fun, like really good items. Like if you guys caught some of those shows, I like loaded in like new tag items for $1, so people would just get them for a steal because I just want to do some fun stuff. Again, in business, those are called loss leaders. Like when you walk through the front door at a Target, they might have loss leaders all over the front, but that gets you into the store to go buy other things that they make money on. So that's the idea behind that. Now, people that are running their shows and actually selling most of their inventory for $1, it's probably because they're newer, or they're getting their stuff. I mean, some people get stuff for like 25, 50 cents, and they really don't care what it goes for, but they're probably not making a ton of money. But that's how they grow. They start with those dollar shows. They get in a good crowd. People are getting deals, and now their following starts growing. So maybe it's something they're working on, growing a following. They're starting from scratch. What do you think about that?
Is that maybe starting a dollar bid auction?
That's what I'm thinking. I don't really know the clarification of the question. I don't know if it's selling things for $1 or starting things at $1.
Well, I mean, I don't do Whatnot. I watch it enough, but I've done auctions enough, which people always ask me. I put a lot of videos out of auctions, and same with you. You're going to put out, you're going to have 200 people in there. You're going to have 200 people wanting an item. So starting at $1, it's going to go for more, but it actually gets people's interest more when it's cheaper because people think they can get it at a better deal, and everyone can get in on it. That's why, like a Kuji, I'll start at $1 because a lot of people will think they can get it. Gets a lot of people excited, and it's going to go for more. But I would never put something out there if I had 15 people in a Whatnot show, and I would never start something at $1. It's more likely it's not going to sell for much.
That's one thing. Like when you're watching me, you're not going to imitate what I'm doing if you're not having the same following. Just like you're not going to do what Walmart is doing if you're a small little mom and pop shop. It just doesn't make sense. You have to do something different to bring in a different crowd. You can build to be a Walmart, but you got to start somewhere small. You got to have different tactics to make money. So a lot of Whatnot questions tonight. I think Whatnot, I think to do Whatnot, you need quality goods. You can't unload crap and expect the top dollar. Yes.
100% agree.
Yep. So I said that in the beginning when I first started Whatnot. Is the reason I didn't like Whatnot in the beginning, and I told people I wasn't going to do it, is because that's all I saw was just people unloading a bunch of junk, stuff that's not selling in their eBay store. So they're starting it and at $1 and just trying to get rid of it. I don't think that's a great way to grow a crowd. I think it's a great way to get rid of inventory if you start everything for $1 and you just want to get rid of it. You don't care what it goes for, but you can't expect your shows to grow significantly faster or significantly fast because you're running a bunch of junk. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do we got here? Autumn was in Buried's live last night. Honestly, Wayne, did I make the right choice last night? Nike new tag or Alaskan hardware 1/4 zip. What do you think was the better item, sir?
I think Autumn. I don't know you very well, but I think it should have been I think the time elapsed on that one.
Yeah.
You spent a long time. You spent a long time on that one. I wanted to just be like, I think the Nike new with tags was the winner. I love Alaskan hardware, but I think the Nike new with tags was the winner.
Yeah.
I think Buried was even telling you like, this is the better one.
Yeah. It'll sell faster. Here's a question. I think we've gotten a couple times. What was your biggest mistake when you first started? What's your biggest mistake?
I don't know if I had a biggest mistake. I just made a ton of mistakes when I first started. And I think I said this the last time we met up. I've never seen people grow so quickly now. I didn't grow this quick on eBay because there weren't as many people to follow and as much media content. But I made a ton of little mistakes that added up to big mistakes. So I would see J. Crew's a good selling brand at the mall. So I went and bought a whole bunch of J. Crew shorts and found out the hard way that they're not good because they weren't selling online. So just a whole bunch of little mistakes like that kind of added up.
Yeah, I think I think I answered it the same way last time we got this question, is like understanding what sell-through rate is, understanding what is actually currently selling. A lot of times when I first started, I would go to a store, I would find something, let's just name something, like a Kahala shirt. I would see the Kahala shirt, I would go look up comps, and I would just look to see if one sold for $35. And if I saw one that sold for $35, I was like, oh, that's a winner. It'll sell for $35. Little did I know that shirt will take months and months and months and months to sell at $35, especially if I'm picking it up in the middle of winter. So you have to understand sold versus listed. Look at those numbers and see if the item is actually selling. Just because one person sold it for it that price doesn't mean that they're always consistently selling for that price. You might have to hold on to it for years before you actually get that price.
Um, Add one thing to that too. I think we both stress it a lot. The money is made when you source your item.
Yep.
So, for an example, American Eagle jeans, I would say, sell for around $18 plus shipping. I don't buy them because they're $7.99. If I could buy them for $1 a piece, I'd buy every single pair I could find. So your money is made when you source your item. I think that's what people need to realize when they're first starting out.
Yeah, you probably get this a lot too when you're doing your live thrifts. Is people are be like, "Why are you passing that item? I sell those all the time." But then you ask them like, "Where do you get your inventory?" And they're like, "Oh, I get it at the bins." Like, well, I'm paying, like you said, $7 for these jeans. You're paying $1 for those jeans in some cases. So your margins are way better than mine because I'm hopefully if I sell them for $18 plus shipping after fee shipping cost goods, I'll make a double my money on that item. But that just simply isn't enough. Whereas you are making way more than me. You're making what, $12, $13 on that $1 investment. That's really smart. So yeah, 100% what you said. Here's another question we got. I know both of you usually shop normal thrift stores. Do you mind sharing why you prefer those over something like the bins? There you go. What do you think, Surfs? You love the
Why
bins.
you keep passing them over to me?
You love the bins.
No, you know what? I say I hate the bins. I don't hate the bins. If I didn't have to pay bills, I would definitely spend a little bit more time at the bins because that's true treasure hunting. But because I have to pay the bills, I have a route where I can go to all these thrift stores and I'm almost guaranteed to make a certain amount of money. Just like I think, I'm not going to speak for you, but if I had a red, white, and blue in town, I think I would be guaranteed. When I feel like I go to the bins, I feel like sometimes I walk away with good stuff. Sometimes I don't. I'm not guaranteed the money to pay my bills.
Yeah. So let me move that out of here, by the way. You didn't tell me that logo was right there. I had my logo above your head. Yeah, 100%. Even like Kat, my sister, has talked about this too. She goes to the bins and then some days she calls me and she's like, man, I didn't find anything today. I have never went to red, white, and blue and found nothing. I've always walked out with at least a couple $100 spent at the red, white, and blue. So also the bins, you have to dig, it's a lot of work and you got to deal with a lot of crazy people at the bins. Thrift stores, sometimes you do, but compared to the bins, like nobody's going to shove you out of the way at the thrift store. Well, maybe they will, but not every single day, every 5 minutes, because that's pretty much what you get at the bins. So I'd rather go to a place that's easier to work than go to a place that I have to fight people to get those certain items. And it's just not fun to me. And also, I mean, I always sneeze and I always feel sick after I go to the bins because it's just a super dusty, musty place. Kayla's the same way. She literally can't go because she'll just sneeze the whole rest of the day. So yeah, I'd rather just go to a thrift store.
Health concerns.
Yeah. Trish said she bought stuff from me from the Whatnot for $1. Yeah, you got a couple of those dollar steals in the buy it now. Costco rotisserie chicken loss leader. Yep. People come in, they get the Costco chicken, and then they go buy other items in the store, so on and so forth. Let's get back to getting back in the eBay resale game after nearly 20-year hiatus. I assume you keep receipts and log purchases from thrift stores. Do you also ask for receipts at garage sales? Thanks. How do you do garage sales with that, Surf? Because I don't do garage sales right now.
I don't do a whole lot of garage sales. I went recently with Bearded on that garage sale hunt. You know, he has the little log, so you can actually go to his shop. He has the little log for like garage sales. You can just write down your purchase and then how much you sold it for. It's as simple as that. As long as you have I'm not giving any tax advice because I don't know for sure. Ask your advisor, but as long as you keep a ledger, that's all that's important.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. If you could write down like the address you bought it at. Just write down the address and write $20 for Squishmallow or something like that. And then that'll be enough of a receipt from what I understand. Again, talk to your tax advisor. They'll be able to help you out with that. From thrift stores, I save all my receipts all throughout the year. And I plug them into a spreadsheet. I have Jason A's spreadsheet. I think, do you use Jason's spreadsheet or use a different one?
I don't. I use one I've always used.
Yeah. So I just plug in my receipts to my spreadsheet. And then I give access to my spreadsheet to my tax advisor, Carol Ann, at the end of the year. So she can see it. She can print it out. and she can use that to do my taxes. Of course, there's other things you have to give her to, like square footage of your house, stuff like that. But at least she can start doing taxes on like January 1st, 2nd. I can give her access to that, and she can just go through and start working on my numbers. So yeah, spreadsheet. If you don't have a spreadsheet or you don't have a way that you're tracking your numbers, you should. I know a lot of people do the whole, I have an account strictly for eBay and whatever's in there at the end of the year, that's my profit. I mean, that's not good enough for my business. I don't know any business that just does that, especially larger businesses. They know what they make on specific categories, specific items, and you should too in your business.
And that goes along with everything else in the business, expenses, everything. So, and I know you probably know that you've been doing it for a while. So not you, but Jeremy.
Yep. Here's a good question for you. I'll let you read this one.
What are y'all's favorite brands to look for at retail arbitrage, especially this time of year with the holidays coming? So today I went to, actually I really quick posted a little video. I did some retail arbitrage. The deals aren't as deep right now. The deals are usually better retail arbitrage after the season. So I think between now and the holidays, you're really not going to find a lot of really deep discounted deals. But after the holidays, you're going to find deals. And then the two main changes of the seasons. So from spring or from winter to spring and from fall to winter or summer to fall, you're going to see some big discounts. I look for anything that I would look for in a thrift store that I can make a good profit on.
Yep. So right now, you can still find deals right now, but you're going to start seeing some of those summer items go on clearance. So with that, you have to understand how retail arbitrage works. Sometimes you're going to buy those items right now, and you're going to wait 4 to 6 months before those items will actually start selling. Because if you list, let's say you buy a bunch of shorts right now, you list them, you might sell a couple, but then once it gets super cold outside, nobody's really going to be buying shorts. Maybe for Christmas, you might get a couple Christmas sales for new with tag shorts, but then most of those items are going to sell, March, April, May. That's when you're going to start selling them. So that's like a 6-month difference. So you have to understand you might be holding on to these items for 6 months. So make sure you have enough funds to put in and invest in these items. I know you store items like that away completely for 6 months before you ever even bring them out and start listing them. So keep that in mind when you're out sourcing. But brands I look for, like right now, I know you're going to Ross and you're picking up a bunch of like Polo Ralph Lauren. They got some good Polo Ralph Lauren in Ross right now. You do have to pay up for it, but it's good stuff. I think he's about to grab one right now.
No, they're upstairs actually because they're going to go into my spring and summer. But like today, I just picked these up. Peter Millar, big size, and they're pants. So I listed these this time of year. They're green, good winter color. But yeah, so Peter Millar, all the brands I'd look for in a store.
Yeah.
But like you said, you're going to be buying off season. And people ask me all the time, but you can sell shorts during the winter. Yeah, you can. But I can tell you this, doing it for such a long time, I'm going to sell like 1 or 2 polos a month in the winter. That's just how it works. I've been doing it long enough that's how it works. Same with shorts, 1 or 2 pair. Yes, you will. But I just store those things. But if that's all you have, then I would list it. But just like KayWay said, don't be upset if it doesn't sell for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. Well, let me ask you this. When you're outsourcing, are you looking for a lot of the same items in each store, or are you looking for one-offs every time you go to the store?
Is that a loaded? That's a you lead me with something. Yeah. So actually, it's always one-offs. Yep. So when we go, I went live today. If I don't know if some of you guys were in there with me, I told you to come over here, but I went live today, and we went to Burlington together, and I showed that we went down all the aisles, and I think I bought 1 item or 2 items, and they were the only items like that there.
Did you find any Disney Spirit jerseys?
Huh?
Did you find any Disney Spirit jerseys?
No, I looked. We all looked together. A pink Christmas one. I have actually seen a Spirit jersey. A lot of you guys probably seen it. But I don't need to talk about that one. But yeah, one-offs. And people ask, what are one-offs? It's hard to explain. It comes with time, but it's just going to be something very unique, something that shouts out at you. That maybe you say you have 3 Marshalls in your town. You go to all 3 of them, and you only find one at one of them. That's a one-off.
Yep. You should be like on your lunch breaks, when you're driving around town, you got an extra 5 minutes. You should just pop into these stores really quick. Just go down the aisles, look what one store has, go to the next store, and you'll see, oh, there's a bunch of Southern Tide right now. Every store has Southern Tide. Southern Tide probably isn't a pickup, but maybe you go to one of these stores and you see the same Southern Tide, and then you see a Southern Tide like loud floral jacket, and you're like, wait, I haven't seen any of those at any of the other stores. That might be a one-off. Even though you've seen a ton of Southern Tide, that might be that one-off Southern Tide that you might want to actually pick up. Or you see a brand that you haven't seen. For example, I can give this example because I know they're in no TJ Maxx or Marshalls because I found this like 4 years ago. But I went to a TJ Maxx on the way home from working at the post office. I stopped in this TJ Maxx like once every month, got in there, and there was a bunch of Jay Lindbergh polos, like 20 of them. And I hadn't seen them in any other TJ Maxx and Marshalls. I go to different ones like on my way home every single day. I had like a little route that I did. So as soon as I saw all those, I bought all of them, every single one of them, and I sold them consistently. If you go way down in my Instagram feed, you'll see the post where I sold my last one, and I think I sold like 18 or 20 of them or something like that. But that was a one-off, but it was a lot of a one-off. But it was the only time I've ever found Jay Lindbergh in any TJ Maxx or Marshalls was that one store. Why that one store got all of them, I don't know, but I bought them all and I made really good money on them. So you really have to know how to find a one-off and do your research. Go to multiple stores before you just pull the trigger. You could see a really good item, but it might be in every single store. So make sure you go to a couple before you pull the trigger on that.
And with that, when I find that one off, I still get out my phone and I look that item up to make sure that the market's not flooded, because there could be TJ Maxx in Florida where KayWay lives, who there's a ton. So even if I find that one off, I'll look it up on my phone.
Yep. All right. Next question. Just got on here, but enjoy your post. We had an eBay buyer tell us we had an eBay buyer tell us her would buy our leather coat for $5 more than we asked, but wanted free shipping. How do I counter that offer? Ooh, that's a good one.
You're gonna pass it to me, huh?
No, I'll try to answer that. I would counter with shipping. So I would say, instead of, they want to pay $5 more, but with free shipping, maybe you just give them $10 off with plus shipping. Counter at that and see what they say. And maybe they'll explain like how much shipping is costing them. Maybe you have on your listing shipping is wrong. You might have a huge shipping, like 20 pounds or something. You accidentally put 220 instead of 20, and it's charging them like $50 in shipping. So look at that too. But I would counter with an offer plus shipping, because if I live in Florida and they live in California and it's a heavy jacket, it might cost me a lot of money to ship to them. So yeah, I would counter with a plus shipping offer. What would you do?
So it's exactly what I would do, because I don't know how it is on the desktop or your laptop, but on my phone, people send me that, and I've had that question a lot of times. I would rather, because it's harder for me to go in and change the shipping price than it is for me to just send them an offer that's $5 less. So if I'm like, sure, I'll do $5 less, I'll just send them an offer for $5 less.
Yep.
Than going in and doing free shipping. Because sometimes people say, will you do free shipping? And I would say, no, I'd rather just give you and you can, on the phone, there's a plus button at the top, and you can send an offer if they ask you a question about an item.
Yep. And now if they accepted that offer and they didn't immediately pay, you could adjust the shipping price. Now, a lot of the offers nowadays are automatic payments, so you would have to just send them a refund at the end. If for some reason you decided to do it, accepted an offer, and then you could send them a refund after for the shipping costs and just give them free shipping. So whatever they paid, you can send it back. But if they don't pay, send them an invoice with the free shipping, and then give them their discount that way. Next up, do you think the resale business model has changed since you've started, referring to the taxable 1099 from 20,000 to 600? How have you adapted to the changes? Surfs?
I haven't had to adapt, but I think it's not to be negative, but I think it's going to be a big awakening for people come February this year, or next year, because it has changed, and everyone's going to get these 1099s that I've gotten since 2010. And they're not going to be ready for them. Yeah. So I haven't had to adjust, but I think a lot of people, especially right now, get your spreadsheets going, get all your ducks in a row now, because when January and February comes, you don't want to be owing a lot of money and not having that.
Yeah. Yeah. I paid my taxes, even though in the first year I only did from September to December, I only did 7,000 in sales. I still claimed that on my taxes, even though it wasn't 20K, it was still 7K. You're still supposed to claim that on your taxes. Just because you don't get a 1099 doesn't mean you're not supposed to claim that money. So I've always claimed it from the beginning. My second year I've done on eBay and Poshmark, I did over 20K. Those are the two platforms I sold on in the second year. And I did over 20K on both those platforms. So I've always had to claim my income no matter what. So it's not going to be a big change to me. But again, if you have a spreadsheet, you have all your numbers, all your ducks in a row, all your receipts filed away, you really don't have anything to worry about. If you do get audited, you have all your information there. So it should be nice and easy. If you work with a tax advisor, they'll help you through that process if you ever get audited. But the chance of also getting audited are super duper duper small. But at least you have all your ducks in a row. So if you do, you can just provide them whatever information they need, and then you're good to go. So yeah. Here's a good question. Has your YouTube channel helped you with your sales? Do you have the same customers? For me, no. I only have 10,000, almost 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. If anything, my TikTok followers would be the ones that, or TikTok and Facebook would be the ones that are, coming in and supporting me. I think the only platform that applies to would be Whatnot. People come and support me there. I don't get a lot of people going on eBay and buying my items from eBay. I think you're the same way, right? You don't have like returning like followers coming and supporting you on eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari, or you only sell on eBay. My bad.
Yeah. I mean, I have returning buyers, and I can see that whenever I ship out items. But no, definitely, I think people think that just because we're on here, we get a lot more sales. It's not that way. I think we're on here because people want to learn how to resell. So they want to find the same items that we find and sell them for more money.
Yep. And there's plenty of people in the chat that can attest to this. They've learned the brands that we're selling, they listed them, and they sold just like we told them they'll sell. So, and they don't have a huge following. That's exactly what I did. I learned from other people out in the community when I first started. I watched a ton of YouTube videos, learned as much as I could, replicated what they were doing, picked up the same brands, and I was making sales. And I didn't have any social media following in the beginning. I actually waited until year 4 before I ever started really posting on TikTok, Facebook, all those sites. I did post a little bit on Instagram, but it was very sporadic. And I had like 1,000 followers on Instagram. I think you're the same way, right? Before you even started posting anything, you had already been reselling for X number of years.
Forever. I just started doing, I just started doing all this in February of this year, all social media. It's February this year. So it hasn't done anything.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. I think there are certain resellers that have that community that they can take and plug in and move to a certain platform, or they come and they buy from their YouTube videos. A lot of those people, like, they'll make a sales video and they'll shout people out. And you'll notice that because the next day or the next YouTube video, they're shouting more people out. So that way people know they'll get a shout out if they buy from them on their eBay store. I don't do that. Like even in the morning, like if I'm shipping an item in, let's say, once in a blue moon, I think it's happened twice this year, that somebody bought something on my eBay store and said, "Hey, this is so-and-so. Thank you so much for your help. I bought this item. Thank you, blah, blah, blah." I'll just say it really quick, like, "Thank you, so-and-so, for picking up this item," and I'll ship it. I don't make like a big thing about it. There's people that actually make whole YouTube videos just like shouting out people that buy stuff from their store. So I don't do that. So that's why I don't really have those customers.
That's not how we roll.
Yeah, exactly. Casey said, "Love the video from today, Surfs. Just finished watching it." Nice.
Oh, yeah. Back to the long form.
Yep. Oh, you made a long form video today?
Kind of ish yesterday, but I put it out today.
I'll have to watch it. I actually have to have Kayla do a voiceover for the YouTube video that we're supposed to put out tomorrow. So I have to get her to finish the voiceover so I can finish mine. But now my voice is gone. So now in the beginning of the video, I had my first voiceover. So now my voice will change from the beginning of the video to the end of the video, but I don't care.
It's the voiceover stuff. That's a good thing. Like the ones I do are just kind of raw, but I encourage people, there's a lot of people that give up. The video I made, and I had no idea it would go this way. What I did yesterday was just go thrifting all day long. And I encourage people to watch it because I'll just tell you right now, a sneak peek. I went to 2 or 3 thrift stores in a row.
Nothing.
That many things. And that's very defeating if you're just starting out. So that's a teaser.
But the thing is, you didn't pick up junk. And that's what a lot of people do in the beginning is they're like, I'm already here. This isn't going to sell for much, but I'm going to pick it up anyway because I have to make this stop worth it. And that's the opposite thing to do. If you don't find anything, just skip the store, go to the next store, and you might find a honey hole at the next store with a bunch of stuff. But in the beginning, that's one of the mistakes I made, referring to that old question. I just would go to thrift store and I'd feel defeated. So I would go try to find something to sell. And that one item will sit in my store for 6-8 months before it sells because it was just junk. So here's a good question for you. I'll let you read this one.
Do you take down your shorts or leave them up on eBay? Angie, I would recommend once you list something, you just leave it up for forever. I have auto posture now, so it delists and relists. But if you don't have auto posture or whatever, I would leave whatever you have up. Post it and leave it forever. Go back to it at some point if it's not selling and maybe adjust the price or see what's going on with it, maybe the pictures, but I don't take anything down.
Yep. If you go to TJ Maxx or Marshalls or Nordstrom, they still have short sleeve stuff in the middle of summer out. It's not like they remove all the short sleeves from their whole store and all their shorts. They might have a smaller section, but they don't just take them all down and just remove them all. So I would suggest do the same. If you already put the work out of putting them out and putting them online, don't reverse that work and then have to do that work a second time. It just doesn't make sense. And that item could possibly sell. So you could be taking a sale away from yourself because you're just leaving it up. It's not like it costing you much money to put it up. If you have less than 250 listings, you get them all for free anyway on eBay. So you might as well just leave them and wait for that right buyer to come.
Yep.
Do either of you think you'll venture into liquidation? It seems like a lot of Whatnot sellers are doing the pallet game, least for clothing. Me, I can't say no. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to not do liquidation. It would have to be a really great liquidation source. I'd have to know that I'm getting really, really good stuff. And I've talked to Chris at Peak about this. The issue with liquidation is a lot of these sellers are getting a lot of the same exact item. So their whole show is just the same item over and over and over again. My show is different to where I have all kinds of different brands. I have something for you in my show. If I have 70 items, there's at least one item in there you'll probably enjoy and you're going to wait for. Whereas if I'm doing I've seen a lot of the ladies do like skims, like they're all doing skims right now. In Good American, I think Daily Refinement was doing Good American too. The issue is it's just the same exact style over and over and over again. And I think that draws a different kind of crowd than what I'm trying to attract. So if I were to buy liquidation, it would be sprinkled in my shows. It wouldn't be a whole liquidation show. But again, I can't say never. I'm not going to say never, but for right now, I'm not interested in it. What about liquidation for you? How do you feel about liquidation?
I mean, I don't sell on Whatnot, and the question's about Whatnot, but as far as pallets, so I think pallets were a big thing right before the pandemic. Pallets were the popular thing. They just started coming out it went from thrift stores to pallets. And so people were getting pallets. And to me, I felt like I had neighbors and friends that did pallets. And for the most part, those pallets were picked over and they were getting mostly junk. And to be honest, I would say they were probably making $3 an hour if I could make up a time or make up money per hour. I don't know. Like you said, I'd never say never, but I'd really have to know who the distributor was. And I know I'd have to see a list of what I'm getting.
Yeah. If I could run my business like Daily Refinement and have he buys massive amounts of the same brand. He gets huge discounts because he's buying so much of it. If I could do that on a smaller scale, but do that with multiple brands, like have 10, 15 brands that now I can sprinkle those all in my show, run 200 item shows and have 10 pieces be Good American, 10 pieces be Mavi jeans, 10 pieces be, Travis Matthew. I think you'd make more profit per unit that way. And it would bring the same kind of crowd that I currently have. But to buy just a lot of the one item, I don't think it would work.
This is kind of upset, but is he just holding up Travis Matthew medium, same style shirt over and over and over?
He has different ways of running. I've only watched a handful of his shows, but what he does is he'll sell a lot of 5 Travis Matthew, but it'll be random Travis Matthews in size XL. So then you buy the lot and then he'll show you the 5 that you get, because that's required on Whatnot to show you the 5 you get. He puts it off to the side, and he has like a work team of like, I think it's like 10 people that work for him. They immediately pack up the item and it's out the door. Like on the show, they're packing up the item and it's out the door. So yeah, you get just a mystery pull. It's not like showing you each item you get.
Gotcha.
But they're all new with tags, so a lot of people don't care. And then sometimes, like I'll when I was in there before, somebody will be like, "Can I get a different one because I got that one last time?" And then he'll just swap it out really quick and add a different one in. But yeah, he has a whole team behind him. Like most of his shows, he's not even running himself; his team's running it for him. He's the GOAT right now of Whatnot. He knows what he's doing. He has a really big business, so he's somebody I definitely look up to. Let's see. Ethan's in the chat. Mr. Ethan Banks. He changed his name. You like the name change?
I know, on everything, hopefully. On
Yep.
on Facebook too, hopefully soon.
Yep. What happens when I accept an offer on Poshmark and then it says payment issue? This is my first time selling on Poshmark. I got this one, Surfs. Don't worry, because I know if you don't sell on Poshmark. If it says payment issue, there's nothing you can really do. The buyer has to change their payment type. So most likely they're using an expired card of some sort, and the order doesn't go through. Now you have a choice to message them on Poshmark. You can message anybody on Poshmark now. You don't have to have an order active. So I would just message them if you want to and say, hey, your payment failed. It looks like you need to add a new card. Feel free to make the same offer again. Or if they change their card, sometimes it just goes through. The offer will go through. So just say, change your card really quick and I'll ship it out tomorrow if you do so. And usually they do. I do the same thing on Mercari too. I actually get a ton of payment issues on Mercari, and I'll send that same message on them. Hey, change your payment type and it'll go right through. So yeah. Do you take offers on eBay? How do you decide what to decline and accept? That's a good question too. How do you decide if you're going to decline an offer or accept an offer, Surfs?
I get that question a lot. And as a new seller, I get it why you'd ask that question. To be honest, it's probably the same for a new seller as it would be for me. I do take offers, and is it worth it for me? Is it something, I don't know, that I've had for a long time and I'm ready to just get rid of it and take $5 less than I would have normally or before? That would be an example. Or just normal offers. I price something at 50 knowing I'm going to take 40, and I'll just take those $40 offers all day long. So yeah, it just depends on the case. But yeah, if someone, usually for me, if they offer less than 50% of my item, I'll just respond with just probably 2% under what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like get all like shoe.
Yeah. I would also say it depends on what you paid for the item, right? If you paid $1 for it and you have it listed for 100 and you get a $75 offer, you're probably going to take it. But if you have that same item listed for 100 and you paid $50 for it, you're probably not going to take that $75 offer, because there's a reason you paid up for it, because you knew it was going to sell close to that $100 mark. So it all depends on what you paid for the item. Typically, my items on average, I'm paying like $8 for. So if I get, if I have it listed for 35, let's say, and I get like a $25 offer, it's probably going to be an automatic accept. This is a rookie mistake I made in the beginning. I'd have something listed for 35 and I got a $30 offer, and I'd counter at 33. Just take the $30 offer. You're already close enough.
Especially at the beginning.
Solidify that sale, especially in the beginning when you're trying to build your good reviews and all that stuff. You don't want to counter over $1, because that already leaves a bad taste in that buyer's mouth. Now they might check your item over even more because they know that you were going back and forth with them. They're kind of angry at you, and they find one flaw and they leave you a negative review. Just take that offer. You're already close enough. Just take it. You're going to make your money on that item anyway.
And what people don't talk about, actually, I don't talk about it enough. As a seller on eBay, you should also put yourself in the buyer's shoes. You want to get a deal, right? So put yourself in their shoes when you get those offers. That's what I would do.
Yep. Chris at Peak is in the chat, by the way. If you guys aren't following Chris at Peak on all platforms, just tap his name here. If you're over on Facebook, give him a follow. He's a funny guy. Just read that comment. I'll let you guys read it, and we will move on. Next up, do you pay estimated or quarterly taxes? Here's my advice for that. Contact a financial advisor and ask them what you should be doing, quarterly or estimated taxes. They'll be able to tell you that. I don't like to give it tax advice in that way. You should always be talking to a tax advisor. They'll be able to help you out with that. If you make a certain amount, you probably should pay quarterly, but again, they'll tell you all that information. How do you feel about that?
Ditto.
Yeah. Tax advice is hard to give advice for because we're not financial advisors.
Nope.
Oh, this looks like a reply. Sorry, I'm just cash flows in the chat. What's up, cash flow? I like now on Restream, I can see your people and my people. So I can see what people are coming over from you now. It's awesome.
What's up, everybody? Your side and my side.
Let's see. Hello, guys. Remind people that Goodwill has a senior day, 25% off discounts for teachers, students, first responders, Sunday in Arizona, savers half off on Monday, senior day. Look at this. We got all the advice. Too bad I don't live in Arizona.
I'm going to move to Arizona. I was always so mad. I'm like, why don't you guys give a teacher discount? Like military for sure deserve it. First responders for sure. Like, why don't you give a teacher? No, we don't have any discount. So Arizona, everybody, that's where you want to go to Goodwill.
Yeah, we don't. We have half off on a certain color. They have, I think, 5 colors that are Goodwill. So every 5th week, one color goes half off. And by the time it gets to that color anyway, most of that stuff is gone, or it's just the junk that's left over. So it's the stuff that's probably going to end up at the bins anyway. So they just want to mark it down a little bit so they can get it out the door. By the way, Teach left you a $1.99 super chat.
What?
You can't see it. We're on Restream, by the way. So if you guys leave us super chats, this is what we see. It doesn't actually come in as a super chat. So we appreciate you. You got $2 richer tonight, Surfs.
Thanks, Teach.
There you go.
Appreciate you.
I bought a pair of Doc Martens and listed them, but now going on 3 weeks, no sale. What am I doing wrong? What is Paul doing wrong, Surfs?
I would say shoes and I would say suits are long tail items, in my opinion, which means those items take longer to sell. Simple as that.
Yeah. I'll say this. You need to be checking sell-through rate on those pair of shoes. Doc Martens, newer ones have a style name on the inside of the tag. Look up how many are listed versus how many are sold. If there's 30 listed and 5 sold, those are going to sit for a little bit. But do understand that those are going to start selling more frequently now because that's 90 days of sold data. 90 days ago, we were in the middle of summer, so docs weren't selling as much as they will be. Now we're coming into the winter months, so more people are buying boots, so docs will start moving. But yeah, sell-through rate is key. And also there should be a style. If there's no name, there's a style number. Look up the style number. It'll help you out.
And quote this, patience pays with this business. That's 3 weeks. 3 weeks for anything would be a super quick sale unless you're Ethan. Yeah, Ethan sells shoes immediately. Like, give those shoes to Ethan and he'll sell them tomorrow and then he'll just pay for them. Just send it to him. Got Bobby in the chat. What's up, Bobby? What's up, Bobby?
This is a Surfsup question from your side. Do you sell to international buyers? In the early days of eBay, you would get good money from international buyers, especially from Japan, but not sure if it's still worth the hassle to ship overseas. Surfs, how do you ship overseas currently?
Okay, Jeremy, it's never been easier coming from someone that has been doing it in the early days of eBay. It's 2001. I used to ship overseas and it was a pain. But now it's so you don't even know you're doing it until you get the label and you actually see that it's going overseas, international sale. So it's not like it used to be. You used to have to go to the post office and fill out all the international shipping stuff and claim it, how much it's worth and everything. And what I was told from eBay, a couple different things. It's easier for us now, but it also keeps the buyer accountable for their import taxes. So when they buy something for $100 back in the old days, they used to say, can you just say that I bought it for $5? And I would put down on the customs form that they bought it for $5. Now that they can't do that, they actually have to pay those import taxes.
Yep. You send it to a hub for eBay. eBay takes it and they ship it overseas for you. So buyer pays all that stuff. As soon as your item makes it to that hub, as long as it's in the condition you shipped it, if it goes overseas, let's say it's a fragile item and they get it and it's completely obliterated. The box is broken. It's squished up into a flat little box and it was this big. eBay will cover you and they will also cover the buyer. So they'll just refund both parties and move on from there. The only time you have to worry about something like coming back to you is if you said it was like a size large and the buyer gets a size XL, they take photos of it. Then you got to figure out how to get that item back. it's kind of a pain in the neck when that happens, because you got to pay for return shipping and blah, blah, blah. But that's only happened like literally one time to me. And what I did was I just refunded the customer, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with it. Even if you're trying to scam me, I don't care. Just take it back. I'm good. So that's a cost of business. It's a write-off. So just move on from there.
Same.
Here's a good question. Do you ever adjust pricing with Autoposher? For example, heading into winter, you've had an item sitting there, but now you know it could sell for higher. Do you adjust your prices?
Can I answer? I'll answer that one.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I did today. Yeah. So I don't. So I adjust my percent off. So I had 10% while I was on vacation, because I knew to counterbalance my store being on vacation mode, I had my 10% offers through Autoposher. Since I've been back, actually today is when I did it. I did 5% off. I do everything over $20, 5% off, because most things under $20, as you know, are like my Polo Ralph Lauren's, the quick flip items, the Surfsup method stuff, that I can't take that 5 or 10% cut on those. So I do 5%, anything over 20. And if it is at the end of the season, like at the end of the summer, I did, I went on my eBay store and did a discount on all my polos and shorts, because I have them in the categories of my store. So I didn't do that through Autoposher. I did that through my eBay store.
Yeah, there's no way on Autoposher for you to select only certain items to run the discount on. Autoposher is a relister. So as it relists your items, it will do that discount. So if you have 50 items about to be relisted and 25 are winter items and 25 are summer items, they'll just relist all of those at 10% off if you decide to. There's no way to say, Autoposher, please only do the summer items. So I was doing it every 90 days. I was actually supposed to start in the beginning of October. I think I'm going to do it in the beginning of November. Run a 10% off sale on my whole store, knock down some of those older listings and down to a 10% off price, and then do that again in 3 months. I think that'll be right after Christmas. It'll be a good time to do that again. But yeah, one thing I will mention really quick, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but Autoposher probably doesn't care. I, tonight after this live, am going to be testing the dupe detector on Poshmark and Mercari, and it will soon come to eBay. So what that is basically it scans your whole store and shows you if you have duplicates, because some people were complaining about that Autoposher was creating duplicates. We don't really think it was Autoposher, but she created a service for that, and I believe it's going to be absolutely free. It's going to be an addition. So you'll be able to duplicate, or you'll be able to check all your whole store for duplicates, but she does have to test it out with somebody, and she decided to reach out to me. So I'm going to be doing that tonight. If it works good, hopefully that'll come out to you guys pretty soon. So you don't have to worry about any more about duplicates. It'll literally go through your whole store, check it. Any duplicates, you'll know about them. You'll be able to delete them, and you can run it once every 2 weeks or something like that and check your store. So she's always on top of this. Whenever there's an issue, she will literally make something or do something to fix the issue. That's why I love working with Autoposher, because it's just a really great platform. And again, I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I don't think she's gonna fire me or hate me, ban me from Autoposher. All right, let's scroll down. I'm gonna look for some good questions. We have a ton of people in chat. I'm missing a ton. Who is that? I don't know what that was referring to. How do you decide? Here we go. How do you decide if you should have a store versus just listing? Thanks. Surfs, when did you get a store right away, or did you wait a little bit?
Well, when I started selling clothing, I got a store pretty much right away. I mean, within 3 months. When I started selling clothing, I had a store within 3 months. When I was selling antiques collectibles, I wasn't selling, I was listing and selling 10 to 20 things a week. So it didn't make sense really for me at that time.
Yeah, so I started eBay with a store. Back in the day, they used to give free listings, but it was nothing like it was today. It wasn't 250. It would be like 50 1 month, and then the next month you wouldn't get any, and then the next month you get 100. It would just be random, and nobody really knew when you were going to get free listings. So I just started with a store right away. Nowadays, I would say you get 250 for free. There are some perks to having a store, but if you get 250 for free and you're just starting, I would use those 250 to your advantage to see if you like selling first. I know everybody watches the videos and they're like, oh, this is awesome, I want to do that. But see if you like it first. You got 250 for free. It's like a free trial almost before you get a store. And then there's a certain number you hit. It's in the 300s. I think it's like 326 is where the insertion fees with the insertion fees you're paying, you should just be paying for the first store because you'll actually save money. But I don't know that exact number. But I would say if you start liking it and you're starting to list consistently and your numbers starting to build, just go get that first starter store or maybe the second starter store. You can decide which one you want to get and go from there. But back in the day is a completely different situation than it is right now. So I started with a store right away.
Also with that real quick, two things to keep in mind. Your store is a write-off for your business. At the end of the year, I know you have to pay for it up front, and that could be money out of the pocket right away, but you can write your store off completely at the end of the year as a business expense. And number two, if you do like it after a month or two, maybe challenge yourself to get a store, and then it might keep you more accountable to list more items.
Yep, that's the exact reason why I did it, because I knew that if I went and got a store and I was paying that monthly fee, that I would list more. So yeah, 100%. I like that advice. Here's a question from Melissa. Says, how do either of you handle lowball offers on eBay? Everybody hates lowball offers, right? You got something listed for 100 and somebody offers you $10 for it, and you're like, what? Like somebody the other night on I think it was like $150 or $200 jacket, they literally offered me $19. And I commented them back, it was on Mercari, and I commented back and I said, it cost me almost $19 to ship this to you. And they said, well, you got free shipping on it. Like, I still have to pay for the label. Like, you have to understand there's a cost to ship this item. You just counter high. And I always counter. I talked to, I think it was Bearded, and maybe it was Chris at the time. This was back when I first started doing lives, and they always countered the offers, and I always declined lowball offers. And they were like, no, counter those offers. And I started doing it, and it led to more sales. I would just counter high, and if they don't counter back or they decline, you move on from there. But yeah, what do you do, Surfs, in that instance?
Like I said earlier, if someone lowballs me, I'll just give them like a 2% off back offer. So I don't just ignore them. They offer me $10 on 100, I'll get them at 98. I'll give them an offer back at 98.
Yep, especially if it's super low.
Yeah.
I had somebody offer, man, it was like $10 on like a $32 item yesterday, and I countered at 30 or 31, and they said, is it really worth my time countering if you're only going to take off $1? And I said, well, it's not really worth my time to come down a lot if you're already starting at a lower price. So yeah. I apologize. If you want to counter back at a higher price, we can meet in the middle somewhere. But then they never messaged me back. It's like they wanted it for 12, and they're mad they didn't get it for 12. So people are they're looking for a deal. They're looking for the cheapest price they get. They can go to somebody else and get that cheap price. I'm gonna try to stay high on my items.
For sure. And I don't know how some people are, but there's definitely psychology to it. If they want to, try to get you to 50% off. So they'll try to offer you at 10%, you come down to 70%, they'll come up and try to meet you at 50%. And I know that psychology, and I don't let that work on me for the most part.
Always. How do you answer this question? What's the lowest you'll take?
You can send offers through my auction or whatever it is.
If it's on Mercari, my answer is always, what's the highest you'll pay? That's my answer to what's the lowest you'll take. And I'll say, what's the highest you'll pay? Because now I have that ability. If they say $25 on a $35 item, now I have the ability to say, I'll do 30. So if you give that first number, if you say, I'll do 25, even if they were going to do 25, now they're going to go, okay, if he'll do 25, I'm going to do 20.
Just like our garage sale.
You always want them to say the first number. It's key in every single negotiation. You be stagnant until they give that first number. Until then, you're just like, sorry, I can't give you a price. What are you willing to pay? I have my price already up there. I want 35 for it. What are you willing to pay? Here's another good one. Did you see a jump in sales after you left your full-time jobs? What about, I'll throw this to you and then I'll reverse it to me. Did you see a huge jump in your sales when you left your full-time job? I'm
going to be honest. I feel like you're going to see a jump in sales when you list more items, period. And since starting social media in February, I haven't seen a huge jump in sales because it actually takes a lot of time, and you don't get much out of it as far as money-wise, everybody. So it's really not about that. So I think your sales will go up if you list more items. So you quit your job, you'll have more time, you'll list more items. So you should have a jump in sales.
Yep, facts. To answer this with like a different situation, but also applies to the same thing. When we brought on my mother-in-law, we saw an increase in sales because now we're listing more items per day. We went from listing 5 to 10 items per day on average. We tried to get to 20, but we never do it. If we average it out, it was like 10 items per day. So now we're listing around 30 items per day every single day consistently. So we're listing more items. That's leading to more sales. Same thing. If you leave a full-time job to do eBay, you're obviously going to be listing more. You're going to be sourcing more. So that means you're going to have more sales. Yeah, that's just basic math. If you list more, you're going to make more.
Yep.
If a buyer contacts you through eBay and asks for so much off, should you redirect them to make an offer through the home page, main page where item is listed? So eBay actually has a cool feature now. If somebody messages you and says, hey, will you take $25 on this $35 item? There's a send offer button on the message.
Yep.
So you can hit that send offer and then you can write your reply. Hey, I just sent you a $25 offer. I accept your offer. Here's the offer of $25. Feel free to accept and pay at your earliest convenience or something like that. So that's a cool little feature. You don't have to redirect them to the listing. You can actually send an offer through the messages.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's what I was talking about earlier, that little button.
Yep. I'll answer this really quick because this is more of a me question.
Yep.
This is more talking to everybody. Consignment's a 70-30 splits after fees. If you want more information on consignment, you can always DM me or hop on my personal live whenever I'm live, and I'll explain my consignment thing to you guys. But it's 70-30 splits after the fees.
What if somebody wanted to consign with you for eBay? What would your answer be? Because I know you probably had that before.
That would probably be a no until I build the resources to be able to do that. That requires a lot of space. I would have to have a specific section of my inventory specifically lined up for consignment. And right now my inventory is everywhere and I don't have a lot of space. I think eventually I could possibly get to that point. The only issue with that too is some of these items are going to sit for 6 months before they sell, just like a normal consignment store. Things don't sell instantly. And if you want them to sell instantly, they can. I can price them super low, but you could just price them super low too, and you can move those items and get the full price. So I think down the road, maybe I'd be open to do consignment. You guys ship items to me and I list them, but I would have to have like 2 or 3 more people working for me, one specifically listing consignment items.
That's kind of a question I've thrown out to everybody. Because I don't take consignment. So many people, people I've sold antiques for and stuff like that. I would rather just buy the item out from them than consign.
100%. I'd rather give you a certain dollar amount per item and I make my money, you make your money, and we both are happy right off the bat instead of you waiting again, possibly 6 months to get your money. Consignment for that it's like having a brick and mortar consignment store. It's like I said, sometimes you're just waiting forever to get paid. And a lot of people will be messaging you all the time, like, hey, has my item sold yet? Like, no, it's still on my eBay store. If you want to go check it out, it's still there. Whereas the consignment that I currently do on Whatnot, you send your items to me, I list them that week or the following week. I might split them between a couple shows and you immediately get paid out right after that show is done. Like 2 days later, you got money in your PayPal or your Venmo account and you don't have to worry about it. It's really quick, easy. And 70-30 splits is like super duper generous. There's not many people doing 70-30 splits, but I know you guys pay for your inventory and I'm fine giving that little bit of a discount. And I also want those items to grow my shows too. So it's a benefit to me and I'm trying to benefit you guys as much as I possibly can. So that's one reason I do that.
To answer Felix, hats are required only on live. So Felix, you go live, I will watch you. You have to have a hat on though.
Yeah. Felix can't hide his beautiful hair, though.
I know. He does have some locks.
He has beautiful hair. Have y'all talked about Posh decision to close their markets in UK and Australia this month? I saw a post. I think it was Autoposher that posted it. I don't have any opinion on it. I know you don't sell on Poshmark, but my items don't go to UK or Australia. That's their own markets. Just like if we sell stuff, we can sell them to Canada, but we couldn't sell it to UK and Australia, from what I understand. I never get international sales on Poshmark, so maybe they're focusing more on the U.S. market, and which might be good for us. They're trying to get rid of those because maybe they're just a headache for them, and they're moving stuff back. I'd have to look into it. Maybe they did a press release on why they did it, but I'm uninformed about that decision at this time. But good question, Sonia. You guys should follow Sonia, by the way, Dirty Thrift.
Yeah, I have no idea about that one.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't sell on Poshmark, so it doesn't really apply to you. Are there benefits to having a store versus a regular listing? Do they push listings? Is there a benefit to having regular store surfs?
Mm, I keep coming back with the same answer to people. If you have the right item at the right price, it's going to sell no matter what, if you have a store or not.
Yeah.
I just feel like it comes down to that, the right item at the right price, no matter who you are.
Yep. There's benefits with, like I was saying, with insertion fees and stuff like that. If you have a store, you can actually save money if you're paying insertion fees after that 250 mark. Once you get to a certain point, there's a number. Once you reach that certain number, it's a math equation. Then it makes sense. There's also certain, I don't know all the benefits you get with a store. I really need to look into this. I get this question all the time because I've had a store for so long that I don't really know what benefits you don't get and what you do get, and they change it. So I know Terapeak used to be only for store subscribers. Now I think everybody gets Terapeak from what I understand. I know that you can run a sale if you have a store. I don't think you can run a sale if you don't have a store subscription. So that might be a benefit. If you want to run a sale on your entire store, you have to have a store. But if you just type in eBay store subscription on Google and you go to one of the first links, they'll give you a breakdown of what you get with each store. I would just do that really quick and see if those benefits are good enough for you versus the price you're paying, and you can make that decision. I really need to go look at that though after this live so I can answer that question better.
And I was answering more that do they push the listings?
Yeah.
Having a store versus not having a store, does it push the listings? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Nobody knows how the algorithm works, but I'm assuming that they wouldn't just push people with stores. There's nothing on that page that says, "Hey, we're going to push your store just because you pay us to have your items on there." Because everybody pays insertion fees after that 250 anyway. So, whenever it comes to pricing, do you typically price competitively to sell quick, or price higher knowing you're flexible?
What's up,
How do
Mac?
you? What's up, Mac? How do you price your item search? Are you pricing like right at market? Or are you pricing a little over market or under market just to sell quicker? How do you do it?
You know me. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of thrift stores around me, so I can get inventory. So I would rather sell mine just below market.
Yeah.
I usually price my stuff now just below market, get it moving.
Yeah. I used to have the opposite mindset, and because of Surfsup, I learned a lot from him. I actually am pricing my items down lower, and I'm just doing plus shipping on top. If you look at everything I've listed for the last like 2 weeks, almost everything is plus shipping. I've been dropping my prices to try to move stuff quicker, and it's been working. Like on average, I think for eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, my average daily sales are around 12 items sold per day, which is up from the last couple months. We're also listing more, but that adjustment I think is helping my store sell better. So right now, I would say I'm at or maybe a little bit below market to make quicker sales, but there are certain items that are rare, and I will price those up and wait for that right buyer. If I pay like a Polo Ralph Lauren, like crazy jacket that I find like a Denim and Supply crazy jacket that I know is like a one off and there's not many listed, I might price that thing high and wait to sell it for full price 3 months down the road, as opposed to pricing it way under market and getting it quick sale. So I think it really depends on what items you're listing. If it's a bunch of bread and butter, I would say just list it at market or maybe a little bit lower, make those quick sales.
I think, like you said earlier, it's a math equation for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Time, and math.
Yep. Do you list or best offer? Do you send watchers an offer, or do you wait for them to make an offer? I list everything buy it now, best offer, except for some of the Polo Ralph Lauren items I've been listing, Surfsup method. I don't list those unless they're over a $35 mark, and then I'll put best offer on those items. But everything else, Polo Ralph Lauren, is pretty much buy it now. That's all you can offer me. I will send offers to watchers on everything, including those Polo Ralph Lauren items. So I'm a little different, and I don't think Surfs does this method. I'm interested in hearing what he has to say about it. If I just listed an item and 2 hours later I have a watcher on it, I'll send an offer on that watcher. Even if I just listed it, I'll still send an offer, because if I can make that quick sale, I'm completely fine with it. If I can send a 10% offer and I just listed it and somebody buys it right away, cool. Could I have made that extra money if I would have waited a day or two? Sure, but I made that quicker sale. I got it out the door. Now I have room to bring in more inventory. So how do you do that, Surfs, if you just list something?
That's a good question. Actually, Auto Posture has there's a spot on Auto Posture where you can select how many days once your item's listed, how many days you want it on there before it sends out an offer for that item. So if I were just to list a pair of Peter Millar pants that I did today, it will wait 7 days to send out offers for that item.
Yep.
So I have it set like that for my new items, but I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Get it in, get it out quick. And then anything that I do, like what you've coined, the Surfsup method or whatever we would call it, I don't accept best offer. So any of my things that I can list in a minute and I list under market, I don't put best offer on. Polo Ralph Lauren shirts, Under Armour shorts, Under Armour pants, those sort of things. I price them under. I don't take offers.
Do you send offers on those though?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Anything under $20, I don't send offers on Autoposher.
See, and that's the difference between both of our businesses. And just because he said that doesn't mean I'm going to change the way I do it, and because it's been working for me, but that works for him too. So that's a cool opportunity for you guys to see, like, we're not going to do the same exact thing. We're going to do stuff different, and it both works for both of us. So you just have to decide in your business what method works best for you.
And you're going to always be adjusting.
Cassandra wants to know, is there such thing as winter Lululemon? Is there such thing as winter? Do they have jackets and pants and fluffy, crazy? Do they have those items, Surfs?
You know, I wear it. You know I do. But I will tell you guys this, just like you, I think you've said it, I wear shorts year round.
Yep.
It's 50 degrees here. We had soccer tonight. It was raining and 50, and I'm wearing shorts. So I wear my Lululemon shorts year round. But yeah, they do make a ton of winter stuff. And again, it's seasonal. But that stuff goes for good money.
Yeah, you can find down Lululemon jackets, just like you can find down Patagonia jackets. They have basically everything. They have from hats to jackets to shorts to socks to shoes. They even have shoes now that you can buy that are Lululemon. So you can find anything Lululemon out there. But yes, they do have winter items. Tend to sell for a lot more money too. If you find the right pieces, they will move fast and for good money. Scuba hoodies. The girls love the scuba hoodies because they can throw the hood over their head and they got the big Lululemon logo right there on top of their head. So
look at me.
Look at me. I'm rocking my Lulu. It's got the Lulu design right there on the front, so everybody can know what you're wearing.
Yep.
I'll throw this question to you. It's going to bring back really bad memories. But do you regret selling anything, sir? So what do you regret selling?
Oh, they put that in there on purpose. I think most people know my regret, my painting. This is the best, worst sale I've ever had.
Yeah, the painting.
So yeah, I sold a painting for a lot of money. It was during the pandemic. It's actually I think it's when everyone got their stimulus checks. I sold it and I was super pumped because I got a lot more than what I thought I'd get. And for years, I was like, this is awesome, until I met a guy who's an art genius. And he found that painting that I sold at Sotheby's, and it got resold for way more than what I sold it for. So I regretted not doing more research. But listen, to that point, I've done artwork a lot, and I have people who restore, and none of the people with me could find the name of that artist or see who did it. It's very hard, and people have since messaged me like, who do you think this is by? If there's not a signature on that painting, it is extremely hard to figure out who painted that painting.
I would have sold that thing for $20.
I know. So ugly.
Do I regret selling anything? Man, I don't really attach myself to items too much. Do I regret? Probably the item that comes to mind that I didn't even sell. I actually gave it away.
Harley Davidson Coogee.
Yeah, that's probably the one. Like I wish I still had it, but at least somebody that we know got the Harley Davidson Coogee. Hopefully they sold it for good money and they made some good money. But do I regret it? No, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. But I really wish that was hanging up behind me. I'll get one back again. There's plenty out there, but yeah, it was my size. It was really good condition. That's probably the one that
they don't make them the exact same. None of them. No, actually, that's exactly what I thought. But then I thought, actually, you gave that away, so you can't really say that's a.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt me that I gave it away. I like the fact I gave it to somebody. It was a part of a buyer appreciation giveaway on Whatnot. So I gave away like a $300 to $350 Coogee. All you had to do is buy one item to enter. That shows those people that are like, I want to grow my Whatnots. Sometimes you got to make a $350 sacrifice to grow your Whatnots. That's how.
Not only that, you let them choose between two $350 Coogees.
Yep. Exactly. So, and I'll do it again. You'll probably see it within the next, by Christmas time, I'll probably give away $300 pair of shoes or $200 pair of shoes over and over and over again. But that's because I want to grow the whatnot. And that's how you grow it. So do I regret it? No, but it does sting a little bit.
You love your Coogis. I mean, everyone knows KayWay shop.
Yep.
Coogee.
Do you think eBay will make any acquisitions of any business? If so, what do you think they would be acquiring?
Ooh.
We talked about this on my live the other night. eBay's been doing a lot with the background removal, taking the backgrounds off of items. They have a new one coming out. They just announced it in the fall seller update, I think it was. If they would just buy out Photo Room, and then they could sell Photo Room separately, but also integrate it within the eBay app. Photo Room is so good at taking out the background. I just recently started using it for my sale of the day posts, and it's so good at what it does. And the old eBay one was really crappy. Hopefully the new one is like Photo Room, but that's an acquisition that they should probably try to get, because if they could do that and all your listings, as soon as they got put on eBay, had the background removal done, boom, 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 that would be crazy good. It would add more competition to eBay because everybody's photos would look more professional, but it would also bring in more buyers to eBay because people would be seeing more professional items put on eBay instead of stuff that's thrown on the ground. So that's the one acquisition that if eBay could do that, that would be really cool, to have Photo Room integrated. What do you think?
If eBay just could get like the AI, like not chat GPT, but like me thinking, like if I could just think of something and it put it down in there. It doesn't exist yet, but no, I don't know about acquisition. I think eBay makes a lot more acquisitions than we think. I think a lot of small companies behind the scenes, they buy them up and use their technology that we don't know about.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, you don't really know what they're doing in the background unless you're like really into looking all that stuff up all day, which none of us have time to do any of that stuff. When you say at market, do you go off eBay sold comps? How do you feel? Yeah. I mean, that's an easy answer. You're going off of what's currently listed and what's currently sold on eBay. That's why when you're at a thrift store and you're looking at an item, it's super easy to tell if you're going to be able to make money on that item, if it's worth picking up, because you can see all the sales data right there in front of you in 30 seconds if you look up the item correctly.
Compared to this too, it's no different than gold. So gold has a price per ounce, right? And it's at market value. Every day it's different. Every month it's different. Same with eBay. You got to look at sold listings. What's the market value for that listing? Like, for example, I had 2 Dixon flannels that were sitting for 6 months. The market value is way off of what I had my listings at. So I had to drop them down to the market value. So what they actually sell for.
Here's a good one. How do you handle returns or partial refunds? I think it's basis by basis. Like it all depends on what the return is. If it's a really high dollar, let's say it's a new pair of shoes that I shipped out, it's a new pair of Nikes, and somebody gets them and says they don't fit, obviously I'm going to take that return. I'm going to wait till it comes back to me. I'm going to inspect it, and then I'll give them their money back. Somebody messaged me, I think it was in a live today, or they messaged me on the side. I forget what it is, but they messaged and they said, I refunded the customer, but it doesn't look like they're sending the item back. As soon as you refund the customer, they don't have to send the item back. The refund has to be done after the item is received on eBay. I know eBay says send a refund, but they also prompt you when you hit that refund button that if the items doesn't have to come back to you. So make sure you understand that. You have to wait till the item comes back, inspect it. If there's anything wrong with it and you have free returns, free shipping and free returns, you can give a partial refund on that item. That's something eBay offers to its sellers. But don't just refund them right away. And partial refunds, again, it's case by case basis. If somebody gets an item, let's say it's a suit and I sold it for $100 and they have it has like a spot on it and they got to get it dry cleaned and they say, hey, it's going to cost me $15 to dry clean this, then I'll just send them a $15 refund and make them happy. Happy customer, happy business. So how do you feel about that?
After being on the road trip with Bearded, I feel like I give way too many returns and partial refunds. But to me, I feel like for being a business, the customer is always right for the most part. I mean, if you feel like someone's fishy, still side with them or whatever. You can always have them blocked from buying stuff from you again or something like that.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's just every case is different. Every case is different. And sometimes you have no you have no control over it. eBay will have control over it.
Yep. This question's for you. I'll let you read it because I do everything buy it now, best offer.
What determines if you have a listing on eBay for bidding or buy it now? So 99.8 of my items are buy it now. So the only bidding I do is I don't have anything at auction right now. I haven't had anything at auction for 2 weeks. So the only time I do it is if it's something rare that it will pop up on people's radars, or if it's something I've had a long time and I've marked it down, then I'm like, I just want to get rid of it. I will auction it off at like $2 or 99 cents, and whatever it goes for, just because I want to get rid of it. Those are the only two reasons I auction stuff.
Are you guys having trouble moving Lululemon? The sales have seemed to slow down on them for me lately. I'll say like older styles of Lululemon, more basic styles of Lululemon, they're getting harder to move, especially like the women's leggings. They're everywhere. You can find them everywhere. That's why when we bring them to Whatnot, we're trying to bring like either new with tag ones or ones with like crazy patterns, because just the basic ones are they're getting harder to move. And even for us on Whatnot, we saw a dip on them. But for example, like Lululemon men's shorts, they still sell really good.
Yep.
Men's pants sell good. Jackets will start selling good this time of year. Even the t-shirts, men's t-shirts will still move for good money because it's like a bread and butter item. Guys really like the t-shirts. They get a small rip in there as they want to replace it. The leggings, like some of these ladies have like 50 pair of leggings. If they miss one, they have 49 more to wear. So the guy stuff seemed to sell better for me. What about you? Guy stuff for you too?
I just was talking about it in a live the other day. It's funny you said guys' pants. Guys' pants I have not seen a drop in sales. Whenever I get Lululemon's men's pants, they sell super quick and for a good amount of money,
Yep.
like what they used to. But definitely women's Lululemon, I pass over tank tops now every single time.
Yep. Tank tops are super hard to move. Even on, like, for example, Whatnot, we sell those for like $7 on Whatnot. So I know shoes, the Lululemon shoes, they just came out with them in the last year, so they still have good market value because there's not many of them out there just yet. But I'm sure within the next 2 years, those will drop in price, and the new bottles will go for more, so on and so forth. But yeah, Lululemon, you just got to buy the right stuff, and that's for every brand. For example, Ralph Lauren, there's certain Ralph Lauren pieces that will go for great money super fast, and there's other pieces that will sit forever and only go for a little bit of money. So you just got to be careful, and that's why looking up comps. And when you look up comps, be specific. Don't just write in Lululemon, but write in Lululemon scuba hoodie, Lululemon purple scuba hoodie, so on and so forth, and that'll help you determine whether that's a good item to buy.
I want to also say this. Just remember, Lululemon is putting out thousands and thousands of items a day. New items, which means there's going to be thousands used items purchased a day from Lululemon. So the market's just getting more and more flooded every single day.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind.
Exactly. We got like 6 minutes left, so I'm going to skip through some questions. If I skip your question, it doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means we're coming up to the end of the show. But we will be doing these shows every single week, as long as Surfsup doesn't like travel to Disney World every week and and have fun at Disney.
I'm in town now.
Well, how was the trip, by the way? We didn't even ask about it. How was your Disney trip?
Oh, man. Anyone knows you go to Disney World, you need a vacation from Disney. You need a vacation from vacation. I'm still not caught up.
Did it rain a lot there? Because I know like when you came, like that was the 1 week we got all those rainstorms, and we got them bad over here.
Yeah, so there was like that tropical depression or tropical whatever in the Gulf, and it came over and it went right up through the Panhandle and just skimmed Orlando.
Nice.
So my last name's Leatherman, so we called it Leatherman luck. We always seem to have Leatherman luck. It did not rain, but one day, a half a day.
Yeah.
So it was good.
The first thing you said when you said Leatherman luck, it reminded me of Andrew Luck. And then I was like, man, that wasn't a very lucky situation.
Is that funny? If you guys don't know us, he's a Titans fan. I'm a Colts fan. We're both in the same division, rivals.
Yep.
So we give each other a hard time.
The Colts destroyed us, so I can't talk at all. Nothing happened 2 weeks ago. We won't even refer to that horrible game.
That's right. Exhibit.
Yeah. How much do you sell internationally? Can I do one setting to start selling internationally? I don't really sell too much. How about you? Do you sell a lot internationally lately?
Maybe one. I only know it when it comes out on my thermal printer. That's the only right way I know. Maybe one out of every 90 items.
Yeah, it's not. It used to be a lot more when they had the global shipping program. And I thought when they changed over this new program, they said that there was going to be more sales because the fees were lower for everybody. But I haven't seen an increase. I've actually seen a decrease. So,
Mhm.
like you, like 1 out of every 90 is probably like a really good example of how many international sales I get. When I get them, I love them because I never see them again. They're just gone. I never see them. But yeah, I don't really get too many. Is there a setting you can turn on with the global shipping program? It used to be a setting in your like the old eBay page you have to go to, and you got to turn on international shipping or global shipping program. With the new international program, I think it's right on your listing already. You just have to click it on, right? Or is it just automatically turned on?
I think there's a way, like you said, in the page to do it for all your items. It's
Yeah,
been so long.
yeah.
It's
I've
always
always
on automatically on mine.
Yeah, when they changed it over from the global shipping to the international program, mine automatically turned on. So I would just go on Google and type in eBay international shipping program and go to that page, and I'm sure eBay will have a whole description of what the eBay international shipping program is. And at the bottom, it'll say how you apply to it, yada yada. But to be honest, I don't know because I just got grandfathered in with the global shipping program.
Yep.
Photo room is amazing. That's what Ashley said. Yes, photo room is awesome. Photo room is really good. Chris said he really likes these lives, by the way. Appreciate you, Chris.
It's way down there, but I was actually, Mandy said something I was gonna, because I follow economics quite a bit. Right now, it could have to do, like, the U.S. is actually in seemingly one of the better spots financially compared to a lot of places, Europe and everywhere else. So that could have play an impact on while the international sales are down a little bit right now. So I'm not for sure, but that could have an impact.
Yeah. I'm also selling a lot less like collectibles, like Christmas houses and stuff like that. And those took a hit right after the pandemic too. They used to sell for really good money and they've taken a hit. So I used to sell a ton of collectibles overseas, whereas clothing, I don't really think I'd get a lot of those buyers. I think if you sell more hard goods and niche products like that, like collectibles, you'll probably see a lot more international buyers.
Sure.
How do you handle someone that purchases an item but never pays? What do you do to those people, Surfs? Do you go knock on their door and say, hey, bro, I need my payment like ASAP or I can't ship your item?
For sure. I need it right away. No. If you have something that I don't know if I have one on my phone, I don't, but they have 4 days to pay. And every day you can send them, it's eBay already has it written out. You just click a button and it sends like a buyer a reminder to them. And they have 4 days to pay. And I don't sweat it. They don't pay. I relist it and they ask why they didn't pay. Always put buyer did not pay. So they'll ask you why. If you're canceling it, you put buyer did not pay, so it will ding their account. So they don't do that to other people. And then relist it. And as you always say, as I always say, sells once, they'll sell again.
Yep. That's exactly what I do. I'll send them a daily message, and then normally on the last day, I'll send them 2 of those same exact messages. And right before I cancel, like 6 hours before, I'll say, it's more professional than this, but I'll say, I'm about to cancel your order. If you don't respond to this message, the order will be canceled and you will receive a unpaid item strike on your account. Please let me know how you would like to proceed. If you would like me to cancel, let me know so you can not get that unpaid item strike. At least give them that like courteous. And sometimes they'll just message you back right there and say, hey, go ahead and cancel. Sorry, I haven't paid. And it's weird. They message me back when they know that they're about to get an unpaid item strike, as opposed to all the other messages I've sent them. But at least you get your item up a little bit quicker. Here's a question because it says question in the beginning. So I'm going to read this one. Should I ship twice a week, twice a week, since the USPS office is 20 minutes away from my home and I am a new seller? Mon BS. Should I ship twice a week? You can do whatever handling time is good for you. Obviously, if you work the opposite direction and you're not driving that way, then yeah, that would make sense. I will say buyers like quicker shipping. They're in the Amazon mindset. So if you can ship right away, they would like that. If you live in a house, you can always schedule a USPS pickup at your house. What I do is I don't even schedule a pickup. I just put a note in my mailbox every day. I flipped a flag up and it says it's taped into my mailbox now because I kept taking it out. But it's taped in my mailbox. It says packages. I have packages at the front door. Please pick them up and scan them. Thank you. Something like that. Caleb wrote it up. So the mailman actually comes to my door every day, scans my packages and loads his truck. And he has no issue with it. There are some mailmen that don't like to do that. That's their job. I mean, there's people out there that don't like to do their job. But that's an option for you if you didn't know that. You can actually schedule those pickups on USPS.com if you didn't know you could do that. What about you, Surfs? How do you handle pickups?
I completely forgot about that. Pickups, yeah. If you only can go twice a week because it's 20 minutes away, yeah, I definitely look into having them pick it up at your house. You get mail every day, they can pick it up every day. So,
Yep.
but I do my store a little bit different. Again, KayWay does what, next day shipping, right? 1 day
Yeah,
shipping.
everything's 1 day handling.
1 day. I do 1 to 3 just to give myself some grace in case something comes up at the house. Usually I always ship stuff out the next day, next business day, I should say. But I give myself 1 to 3 days.
Yep. Do you promote your listings on eBay? I used to promote at 3%. I now promote at 5%. The reason being is because I have a lot of you that go to my store and that you look at my store and you look at my listings, which is completely fine. That's why I have my store public. I have no care in the world. Go look at my store, look at how I have my listings done, take examples from that and use them in your business. That's why I have it public. But unfortunately, that gives me a worse conversion rate on my listings. People are looking at them but not buying them. Nobody knows how the algorithm works, but I assume that if eBay sees a lot of people going to a listing and just clicking on it and leaving, they probably think there's something wrong with that listing. So they're going to promote somebody else's listing that's, they're selling more items in their store without that horrible conversion rate. So I promote at 5% to offset that. I don't think everybody should. I was at 3%. It was working for a while. I saw a dip in sales. I went to 5%. Now my sales are back up. It's only a 2% increase. So that's the reason I did it. What about you, sir? What do you promote at?
I actually don't promote anymore.
Nice. You're saving yourself some money.
Well, I use Autopasher now, and that 5% is kind of like my promoted listings. I know. So
yeah, that's awesome. Different strokes for different folks.
Actually, I will say this. Now that you say that, I do have promoted listings on a lot of my Polo Ralph Lauren stuff.
Gotcha.
At 3%.
Yeah, that's smart. What's the reasoning behind that?
I price it lower, but I want it to be pushed up in the algorithm a little bit. So when people click on it, they'll see it hopefully on the first page and at a lower price than everyone else.
Yep. Angel says, but you tip your mailman and treat him right. Yes, I tip my mailman. I need to actually tip him again. It's been a little bit since I tipped him, but I'll say this. If you're going to tip your mailman, either hand him cash or put it in a card and seal the card and write mailman on it, leave it in your mailbox. Because if they get a sealed card and they don't know there's cash in it, they're allowed to take it. Some post office managers, there's a rule behind it. Some people just throw it under the rug and they don't care about it. But some managers are sticklers and they can only accept a certain amount of money. I think it's $20 for like the whole year or something like that. And a lot of times Christmas time, people leave tips and say thank you to the mailman. I do because they save me so much time and money every year. And I used to work at the post office, so I understand like how hard they work. So put it in a card, seal the card, and make sure it's sealed. It's not open. Give it to your mailman. They're allowed to take it home and open it because they don't know there's any money in it until they get home. And obviously they don't have to return it afterwards. That applies to gift cards and stuff like that too. Or you can just hand them cash and say, here you go, put this in your pocket. I appreciate what you do. Meet them at the mailbox. And then their manager will never know that they got any money. But I tip my mailman because he does a really good job.
Yeah.
You don't have to, by the way.
Obviously you were a mailman, so you know, but I remember my mailman, the one that we had for years, I had to give him gift card for, I think it was $25 is what he said I could give for. I don't remember, $25 every Christmas. But yeah, it has to be a certain amount.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some mailmen that make bank though. There's one guy that was on he's on a route with mansions on it. That dude would make bank everybody wanted that
no
route.
one taking my route. No one taking my
route. He was an older guy. He had that route for a very long time.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, and everybody knew how much he was making because he would brag about it. And the managers at my office didn't care, but that dude made bank.
He had 2 pensions.
Yeah, he made a lot. He made a lot of money. Let's just say like 3 or 4 months salary in like 1 week from tips. It's crazy. With auto posture, do you do discounts for watchers, or if the item goes beyond a time duration, or both? I think you answered this earlier. You can like reiterate it really quick. You send out offers after like that 7-day window.
Yeah. So if you go into your auto posture, I do it all through my phone. There are a lot of options now, specifically to eBay. A lot of options now that you can duration, how long it's been on, how much you want to send them an offer for. There's a lot of options with auto posture now.
Yep, and you can sign up through either my link or Surf's link, whichever one you want to go through, and you'll get $5 off your first month. I'll give a little short spiel of what auto posture is. It's a shares on Poshmark for you. It sends out offers on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Depop for you. It also relists on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Depop, which means it's creating a brand new listing for you. It's ending your listing and creating a brand new listing. And hopefully the dupe detection here pretty soon. Like I said, I'm going to run a trial on that here pretty soon. But yeah, it's a really good service. We both use it. We both love it. And yeah, you can sign up either one of our links, whatever one you're watching right now. We both have links in our bio or in our descriptions, and go sign up for auto posture if you haven't already. Give it a try. I think it's a 7-day free trial that you can use. There's a limitation to how much you can use it though in the 7-day free trial. And then once you pay for it, you can get the full trial. So
For sure.
yeah, it sends out, Jared says it sends out offers on eBay. Yes, whoops, I highlighted your comment. It does send out offers on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and you can set your stipulations too. So if you want only 10% out offers on eBay, and you can even write in a message and it'll send that message for you too. It's all automated. I relist 2,000 items a month on eBay. Auto posture does that all for me. I don't have to touch it. So it's a really, really good platform.
And
really
KayWay uses it on all the I just have eBay.
Yep.
I just pay for the eBay portion of it, and it's worth its money 100-fold. I don't need. It's probably worth $400 a month for my business.
Yeah. Can you run sales on auto posture or just eBay? You can run. It's not a sale. It's basically like a sale. You can relist your items at a discount if you want to, but you can't like tell auto posture to discount your whole store. That's something you can do through eBay, not on auto posture. Auto posture is just a relister. So if you wanted to relist at a discounted price, if like I say every like 90 days, I relist my items at a 10% discount to try to clear out some of that older inventory. That does that for me. It relists them at that 10% discount, but it keeps your listing exactly the same on eBay. What it does is it ends it and it creates a brand new listing. It's not doing an end and a relist. It's not doing an end and a sell similar. It's doing an end and then creating a brand new listing. It's basically like a sell similar, but a little bit different. And it's, Jared, it's $35 a month. If you use our codes, you get $5 off. So it's $30 for your first month. Again, there's a free trial for everybody to use. So go check it out. It's all in our bio. But get that discount code. Don't just go to autoposture.com. Get that little bit of a discount.
Yeah. And also I've been seeing, before we wrap it up, a lot of people in the chat. There are a lot of good resellers I've seen in the chat answer other people's questions. I really appreciate you guys being in here helping that out.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. We'll do this again next week. Again, if I skipped your question, it doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means we're getting close to the end. How are we going to end this, Surfs? We were supposed to do a store review. Maybe we'll do it next week. We'll do a store review next week of somebody's store. We'll pick somebody. So if you guys are watching this right now, drop your store name in the comments, and we'll go through and we'll pick somebody and we'll do a quick little store review. It won't be long. It'll be like 5 minutes, and we'll both like talk a little bit about the store and all that stuff. So make sure you drop your store names down in the chat. Yeah. What else you got, Surfs?
Well, I just think both of us could talk for days on all of these things. So we definitely have to end it. Someone said they like my sweater. How about that short sleeve Kuji?
You stole that sweater. I watched that live. I was like, what's happening? I was going to go for the sweater, and I'm like, nope, I can't go for this one. I know what's happening. I'm not going to try. I was going to try to bid you up, but I was like,
the beard didn't even give me a discount. I had to pay full price.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I appreciate everyone being here. And again, we're going to try to make this a weekly thing on Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like he said, we're going to do some store reviews too. We're going to go through some stores. We might learn from you guys. So,
yep, 100%. So if you guys see it, if you have any questions throughout the week, you think of something, come back to these shows on Thursday, ask the questions. You get two brains at the same exact time answering questions. And like I said, we might have different answers, and you might be able to play with both answers and see which one works best for you. Appreciate you guys hanging out tonight, and I guess we'll catch you next week.
See you next week.
Oh wait, we have to do the
Whoop,
way.
boop, boop.
I think this makes it the thumbnail at the end too if we do it right at the end. So
It is.
we'll see the thumbnail.
Yep. All right, y'all.
All right, peace out, everybody.